So the AIIMS experts panel of doctors has concluded that Sushant Singh Rajput died by suicide. And this is not, there is no foul play in it. But it seems that a section of the media, as our very own Ravish Kumar calls them, Godi media, have taken it upon themselves to defy logic, defy facts, and invent their own facts, to try and somehow identify and spot and drift the story towards the fact that this was murder and not suicide. Joining me right now is Mr. Satish Maneshinde. You're the advocate for Rhea Chakraborty. Mr. Maneshinde, first of all, I want to know from you your initial thoughts on the conclusion of this team, this expert panel of doctors.
Well, it's a welcome sign that the report of the AIIMS medical board is coming out in public. But I must be very guarded in such a manner that as of now, I do not have any official version of the CBI or the AIIMS. So it is premature for me to comment anything on what is coming in the media.
Sure.
But be that as it may, the state of Maharashtra through the Home Minister, as early as July, had made a statement to the public at large that the medical report submitted by the board of the Cooper Hospital had come to a finding that this was a case of suicide and there was no foul play. And according to me, it was a medical board of 5 doctors. So a professional in Bombay or in Delhi can't be making glaring mistakes, number one. Secondly, the medical board which conducted the postmortem in Cooper Hospital, to my knowledge and according to what I have read so far, was conducted under a videograph, and there were photographs and various notes were made. So all of it is in their realm of investigation. And until the CBI makes an official declaration or a statement or files a report in the court of law, it is premature for me or anyone to come to a conclusion as to what the reason or what's the cause of death is till the charge sheet or any report of suicide is filed in the court. I wouldn't like to speculate on the cause of death. What I have been seeing in the media is that 2 to 3 channels, half-baked reporters from those channels, were airing interviews of doctors and various people right from the beginning to such an extent that they wanted a narrative to be followed by the entire country as far as this case was concerned. And now with the report of the AIIMS doctors leaked out by some news agencies, the entire narrative is sought to be changed by playing out a tape-recorded version of a conversation which took place in early August. So all that is happening in the media is totally wrong. It's unprofessional, and it is hurting the investigation being conducted by the CBI. And I had made a statement as early as July that till a report is filed in a court of law, all the people who are concerned with this investigation, either the family or the lawyer or anyone else trying to air views which are half-baked, should be stopped and wait for the report and have patience for the truth to be disclosed before the court of law. In spite of that, right from the beginning, all this is happening. And I'm sorry to say that media is responsible for the speculation being conducted.
Now, Mr. Maneshinde, I'm only assuming, and because you're representing Rhea Chakraborty and based on your earlier comments, that you believe that this was a death by suicide and there was no foul play in the first place. You must have seen the arguments, and when you look or hear at some of those arguments, for instance, a taped conversation which was leaked, perhaps which should not have come out but which has been leaked, which suggests that one of the doctors believed in something else and his final conclusion is something else. On his part, the doctor is quoted as saying that there were my initial comments when I looked at some photographs, but a studied opinion of unanimously of all the doctors was that there is no foul play. This is death by suicide. So I want to know from you, after hearing the logic that has been given, which you call half-baked, what would you have to say to that?
See, first of all, one has to consider that the Supreme Court transferred the matter on the 19th of August by its order. The order was uploaded on the site of the Supreme Court on the 19th. The CBI came to Mumbai either on the 20th or the 21st to carry out the investigations. It was premature for anyone to leak or record a conversation of a doctor who had not even visited the site of crime, or not even seen the medical report, or not even seen the requisition made by the CBI for its opinion. So I feel that, like I said, most of these guys who are airing these conversations or tape-recorded versions of doctors or people connected with the investigations are half-baked and they have no knowledge of law. They must wait till the CBI files a report in the court of law and then make a comment or record and whatever. All this exposure that media is making is totally unwarranted and does not meet the professional standards of either the media or the investigators in this case.
Absolutely. Now, two things that I want to ask you, but Mr. Maneshinde, of course, one comment will be on the state of the media and the reporting in this case in which your client has been on the receiving end. But first, a question as far as the investigation is concerned. Mr. Maneshinde, I'm sure you're aware that the case that was handed over to the CBI is the case that was filed by the Bihar police on one charges of financial bungling, which went to the Enforcement Directorate, and the other matter was of the abetment to suicide. So now that foul play, say, let's assume that the final findings of the CBI is that there is no foul play and this is death by suicide, it can still be a case of abetment to suicide, can it not?
Well, first of all, the investigators are investigating the case. I wouldn't like to speculate as to what offenses are likely to be made. There are so many offenses which can be speculated upon, right from murder to suicide, to abetment to suicide, to culpable homicide. And, you know, when a person meets his end, till the investigators conclude as to what is the cause of death, I don't think it is right on any person, particularly in the place of Rhea Chakraborty, to say as to what it could be and what's likely to happen. Because she was never on the spot between the 8th and the 14th of June 2020. And therefore, she is unaware of the facts and she's unconnected with what happened in the house from the 8th to the 14th of June 2020. So I cannot fathom any reason, I cannot fathom any cause of death, and it will be totally unprofessional on my part and unethical on my part to come to any conclusion as to what happened in the house when my client was unaware of the facts of the case.
Okay, Mr. Maneshinde, last couple of questions related to the media and the manner in which reporting has happened in this case. And as I said, and I'm sure you're also aware that your client has been on the receiving end. It's been going on, it's relentless. It seems that a mind has been made up and facts are being invented. It's very clear that there is an invention of fact. Now, given this sort of onslaught and your client is at the receiving end, would you say, assuming that there is a verdict or the eventual finding of the CBI is pretty much in league with what you're saying, can we expect legal action by Satish Maneshinde and Rhea Chakraborty against all those who almost accused her of murdering Sushant Singh Rajput? In fact, they did, not almost.
Well,
they did.
In my petition before the Honorable Supreme Court, I had made a cause, I had made a point, and I had made a complaint regarding the media trial that is being conducted. We submitted written submissions. We submitted judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court to say that all that is being done is unwarranted. But the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, did not think it fit to make any comment on the points that were raised. But be that as it may, the concept of Article 21 of the Constitution of India is a fair trial. Fair trial includes that everybody before the court of law is presumed to be innocent. But unfortunately, like I said, from the conversations that I have heard on the TV and some of the anchors, which are half-baked and have no knowledge of law, have said that my client is guilty of so many offenses. But ultimately, when the charge sheet is filed, we'll face a trial. And I can assure you that once my client decides to take action according to law against all those who called her by various names and accused her of various offenses, we will chase each of them to the logical end. You'll expect a lot of cases coming up.
No, so is Mr. Maneshinde saying that all those in the media or people outside who hounded Rhea Chakraborty are going to face action once she comes out on bail? And you will take it to the logical conclusion.
All those who violated my client's fundamental rights or were reasons to violate my client's fundamental rights will be brought to book. I can assure you that.
Including anchors, including anchormen.
Anyone concerned.
All right. Mr. Maneshinde, thank you so much for joining us right here on NDTV. Thank you so much.